Hello out there in cyber world, interneters, peoples. This is Aaron with AA Mobile Automotive. Today, I'm going to be doing a water pump on a 2013 Chevy Cruze with the 1.4 turbo. The tools you're going to need. Now the Chevy on the heater hoses have a squeeze clamp. This device right here, I'll show you. Pliers squeezes the clamp with this end, is awesome. It's so helpful to get in tight areas. The cable's flexible right there. But if you don't have that, sometimes I can spread these wide enough, get in there and squeeze the clamp and move it off the fitting. So maybe some long needle nose pliers. Okay, so that'll be a supplement for that. Now to get the radiator and the heater hoses off, these things are awesome. These are just, they're like a little ice pick, but not really sharp on the tip. They come in different angles, different lengths. You can see I have another one that's super helpful for getting the heater hoses off. Okay, and if you don't have those, you can work with a flat tip screwdriver. So there's an option there. Okay, so flat tip, say you have a flat tip screwdriver, maybe even longer, you can get down in there, kind of run it under the edge of the hose in the fitting, pry it off while you're pulling. So that's something you might want if you don't have those hose tools. Phillips screwdriver to get the air cleaner box off. There's a bunch of Phillips screws to get the top of the air box off so you can get to the air filter and take out the lower portion of the air box. And the option for that is, which speeds it up and a little bit better if you have an impact driver or a drill that this bit can go into and long, is good for this one if you have a long one. If not, you got the Phillips screwdriver. Okay? And this is in place of, in some of the bolts, like for the motor mount, use the 3/8 drive socket. I'll tell you the sizes you're going to need in a minute. That's a supplement. Otherwise, you're using a ratchet and some extensions, okay? So that's just also something, if you do have around, that will help you kind of speed it up a little bit easier. Same thing with these 1/4 inch and 3/8 pneumatic air ratchet. If you have an air compressor and a ratchet, definitely helps speed things up a little bit, makes it a little easier. But again, if you don't have those, you have your 1/4 inch, just regular ratchet. Swivel heads really help on this job because of kind of the angle and spots you have to get into, but if you don't, it's okay. So you're going to need some ratchets, 1/4 inch and 3/8. You'll need a couple different length extensions to help you reach some of the components or the bolts behind the components. So you're going to need that 1/4 inch, 3/8, and some 3/8 extension. This, the only thing I use this for, which is pretty good, the plastic clips on the shielding you'll see, to kind of get this between the body and the clip to help slide it in there, squeeze, and pop out the clip. That's what I use. You got to be real careful not to cut it. This is a lead blow hammer. Torque wrench. If you're not good at filling out how to snug and tighten up bolts into aluminum so you don't strip them, in the video I will have specs for some of the components you're going to be bolting up. This one is a 3/8 drive with inch pounds and newton meters. So even when it does call for foot pounds, you just, 12 times 16, which is the 16 foot pounds, you'll get your inch pounds, 192 for instance. So that helps out. Otherwise you can just use the ratchet, snug it, and go a little bit more. Don't go with all your might. So you strip those out, because then you're up anyways. Oh, but if you don't have a 15/16 wrench, either an angled one or just an open end one, you can put a crescent wrench on there and kind of hold it. Now the sockets. 15 millimeter. That will be for the motor mount and the bracket for the motor mount where it goes into the engine. A little 7 millimeter for the little underneath, the plastic shielding under there. There's that, bam, and also the hose clamp up top on the air tube, the intake air tube from the air box down to the intake. Then you have these, if you see here, they're like a double square female Torx style socket. Some call it an E socket. The size will be E whatever. This is an E10. You will need that. You will need an E12. And you will need an E14. So there you go. This right here, put these right here, is everything you need to do. A 2013 Chevy Cruze 1.4 liter turbo Ecotec water pump. That's all for the water pump, thermostat housing, and lower radiator hose. There you go. No coolant in the reservoir, started to overheat. Looked around for a leak. This is what you're gonna find. Okay, I'm gonna turn. Let me get my flashlight here. Where's my flashlight? There we go. That pulley that my light is on right there is where the water pump is at. There's a tight fit. There's some things we're gonna have to move and get out of the way to get to it. That's it. But if you were to look down right in there where the light is, it's all wet right under the water pump.